Hello everyone, welcome to Lazada Sustainability Academy. Through this program, we hope to share with you the knowledge to future-proof and transform your business. I'm your host Chen. As SME chart their course through the dynamic landscape of sustainability, it becomes imperative to zero in on the sustainability topics that align with the industry and meeting their business needs and challenges. Today, we are very happy to have a distinguished guest, Brian Ho, Partner, Sustainability and Climate Assurance Leader for the Asia Pacific and Southeast Asia at Deloitte. With over 2 decades of expertise in sustainable development, Brian is a prominent figure in this field. He also served as a value member of the Sustainability Reporting Advisory Committee in ACLA and SGX, and the Sustainability Committee of the REIT Associations of Singapore. Thank you for joining us, Brian.
Thank you, Chen.
I will jump straight to my first questions. There is a broad spectrum of topics regarding sustainability that SME can adopt. So what is the purpose and benefits for identifying the correct ones for their businesses?
Yeah, thank you very much for your question and thank you for your invitation as well. And I believe this is always a question that many companies, especially SME, will ask because sustainability is very broad, so many topics underneath, right? I mean, environmental, we have something on climate change, something on waste, something on energy, on social, we have human rights, we have labor. So it's a broad range of the topics that sometimes companies find challenges in terms of looking at what those topics are really means to them, right? So that's why figuring out the right sustainability topic is important. It is all about making sure that businesses are on the right track with their sustainability efforts. So that's why looking at something that are so-called material to companies will be very important, especially some topics that will have impact, no matter on the financials, on the bottom line, on the revenues of the companies, which become as a very important part of their long-term success and also resilience as well. So that's why identifying the topics that really matters can help business focusing on how to reallocate their resources when it counts the most. This can help to companies to look at how to boost their reputations, looking at where the risks are, how to communicate those to customers, and then they can also help to bring in more customers and even spark innovation as well. For SMEs, this can be super important as well because they often have limited resources compared to bigger size companies. So that's why under this broad spectrum of our sustainability topics, SME also really need to focus. Focusing on the topics can help you to look at how you can utilize your resources effectively and also tackling sustainability in a more cost-effective way. So you don't really need to cover all the topics, but focusing on some topics. For example, considering an SME is operating an online marketplace for handmade crafts, for example. So the companies may recognize that sustainable packaging, reducing packaging materials, and also supporting some artistic livelihoods are the key sustainability topics because it can help them to reduce the cost by reducing the packaging materials, and also supporting artistic livelihoods can also help you to find some unique products and also connect with the communities. So by doing that, you don't only attract eco-conscious customers, but can also stand out in a very competitive e-commerce market as well. So that's why when you identify the topics, you need to find something that are really material and you see the business case of managing those issues. So this is a short answer to the questions of Chen.
That leads to my second question. When talking about identifying and prioritizing sustainability topics, so what are the steps the businesses can do?
Yeah, so these are really good questions because when companies start to look at sustainability topics, there are so many standards, frameworks, guidelines in the market. But of course, to make sustainability making sense to business, I would recommend to look at those sustainability topics that are typically categorized under the 3 categories, which are a very hot topic right now when we look at the environmental, social, and governance. We call it ESG, with an acronym ESG. So by looking at those topics, this is this can help companies to figure out which sustainability issues are the most important for the business. And as mentioned, this is often referred as a material topics, or we call that process a materiality assessment. So of course, here are some of the steps that you can look at in terms of companies identifying those topics that are material. First, of course, you need to look at your own operations and value chain, right? And many of those topics are very industry focused, and also it will comes from the expectations of the stakeholders and also the macro environment as well. So that's why the first step you can do is to look at the industry research. Look at the core topics that your industry's peers are always looking at, which those topics are currently important and also typical within the industries, especially from recent opportunities angle. So you can look at your peers' information, for example, that if they have a sustainability report, or you can look at some industry report. So it can help you to think about what are the issues that you should pay focus on. Second one is talking to your stakeholders, because I believe when you operate your business, your different stakeholders, right? I mean, no matter your customers, your suppliers, your employees, or other regulators, all kinds of stakeholders that they may have expectation on you. So by understanding or talking to the stakeholders, you can identify some issues that you might not be able to think about in the past, but they can give you more insights about what's happening on the ground, what are the trends that you should pay attention to regarding sustainability. So engaging with stakeholders will be one of the very key success factors to help you to identify your material topics. But then, of course, you can also looking at how you can regularly review the topics that are material to you, especially in the sustainability space. The landscape is changing very, very quickly, right? No matter, we just mentioned about packaging materials, many companies are looking at reducing packaging materials or use alternative materials for packaging. So we all know that technological advancement is very quick. So how we can also do some regular review in terms of looking at what are those latest trends on sustainability, and based on those topics will it be something that we are able to sort it out in a short period of time. So I think this is the third step that you can look at. So identifying sustainability issues is the start of everything, and by looking at those issues, I believe you can prioritize your management priorities, how to allocate resources, and it will be a good start of your successful journey on sustainability.
Thank you for sharing that. I think industry peer research keep ourselves updated to the latest industry trends, as well as speaking to the right stakeholders. When specifically zoom into the stakeholders engagement, so I believe the internal stakeholders will be relatively easier compared to the external stakeholders. So how can business choose the right external stakeholders to speak to, and how can they incorporate the stakeholders' concerns into this overall process?
Yeah, this is a really good question, because sometimes we have when we operate a business, we have so many stakeholders, right? Some of those we call it some professional stakeholders that we engage with. As mentioned, you do business, you have your suppliers, you have your clients, regulators, your employees, even you talk to the banks, to the investors, or sometimes there are some indirect stakeholders, for example, media, NGOs, which they don't really interact with you every day, or they don't really do business with you, but they do have a stake, or we call it interest in your operations. So given that stakeholders is so wide range, right, we need to think about how to prioritize those. For example, who are the stakeholders who matters and will have impact on you if you are not responding to their expectations? So who are the ones that you can keep them informed, but not in that proactive way? And which are those who you can just have a regular monitoring and know and understand what they say, but not actively engaging with them. So you need to first to look at who are your stakeholders first. Stakeholders, as mentioned, you're not only those that you interact daily, but some of those may be indirect stakeholders. So you will need to look at who are the stakeholders first. So I think this is the first step. Second step is, as mentioned, you need to prioritize that. To identify who are the key players, because some of the stakeholders, as mentioned, they have both high influence and also high interest in your projects or in your business. They are very crucial for you to engage with, and this is important to actively manage their expectations. So regarding this group of key players, especially for example, if you do commerce, I mean your clients will be one of those. How you should communicate with them frequently, on a regular basis, and involve them in some of your kind of sustainability efforts as well. Examples would include your major investors who have a high influence on business, and you can regularly communicate with them on what you are doing on sustainability, which is one of the major concern of them. So this is the first one. You need to identify who are the key players. The second one is how to keep them satisfied, right? Because as mentioned, the second group of the stakeholders that they may have a high influence on your business, on your operations, but they have relatively lower interest in your project and business. So they may not be directly impacted by your business, but they can affect its success or failure. So you should keep them satisfied by meeting their needs and also addressing their concerns. For example, as mentioned, regulators, industrial associations, these are the types of the stakeholders that you need to keep them satisfied on what you are doing on sustainability, in making sure that what you do on sustainability and also aligning with their priorities as well. So this is the reason why we are seeing so many companies, when they look at their own sustainability journey, they will also align with the government pathway or the country's targets as well. So this is the second type that you will need to look at. The third one is how to keep informed with those stakeholders who have low influence on your business, but a high interest in what you do on sustainability. So it will include something, as mentioned, media, industry analysts, NGOs. So these are the types of the stakeholders that they may not really have an impact on you directly. But for example, if a media have some negative, or some news story about your company, or some NGOs have some research or investigations on your industries, they may also impact on you in terms of your reputation as well. And they are all very interested in sustainability, especially in several industries. So to look at this type of stakeholders, what they will do is they will either support or oppose your business based on their interest regarding sustainability. And as a company, you should keep them informed by providing them with relevant information and updates, including some regular updates on sustainability through your sustainability report, through some news channels, websites, whatever, all the channels that you can communicate with them. And then they will have a better sense on what you are doing, and then it will be a kind of a shield for you to prevent being criticized on sustainability. And the last one, as mentioned, is also types of the stakeholders who have both low influence and low interest in your companies on sustainability, but at least for now. So they may not be aware or care about your project or business, but they may become interested or influential in the future. So you can monitor them by checking their reactions and feedbacks. So in such case, many companies are also looking at social media. On what they're talking about the companies on sustainability. So after identifying different types of stakeholders based on the nature that I've just mentioned, and of course you need to think about different types of the channels that you can engage with the stakeholders. Many companies have been engaging with stakeholders through different measures. For employees, you may have employee survey. Customer, you may have customer satisfaction survey. You may have regular communication with your investors. When you do business with the banks, the RMs, the relationship managers, have been talking to you as well. But of course, in order to ensure that all of those sustainability matters are being communicated on an effective manner, you need to have more systematic engagement in terms of looking at what are the core sustainability message that you want to communicate with your stakeholders, and also through different measures, no matter have some regular visit, interviews, maybe conduct some focus group workshops, or even some online social media platform as well. So after getting the information, getting the feedback, you can look at to analyze the feedback and also to involve some stakeholders in your future sustainability efforts as well. But more importantly, because there are more and more criticism regarding greenwashing right now for many companies when they claim that they have doing a lot on sustainability, but it is found that they are not doing that much. So that's why how to avoid yourself falling into the criticism of greenwashing. You also need to ensure that when you communicate with your stakeholders, have a transparent, honest communications. Not only talk about the good thing, but also talking about the challenges. What are you're thinking for solutions, recommendations for stakeholders, so that you can build the relationship with the stakeholders. Not only the stakeholders listening what you are doing, but they can also contribute on their expertise and also knowledge on sustainability as well. So that's why, in terms of engaging, communicating with stakeholders, these are my recommendation. It's quite a lot to do because the landscape right now is more and more complicated, given that people are more, the general public or different group of stakeholders are much well informed compared to what happened in 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So it will give more challenges to companies, but also more opportunities. You can use different types of measures, channels to communicate with your stakeholders as well. So hope that my ideas can provide you some kind of my experience can provide you some ideas on how you can start to looking at your stakeholder engagement.
Definitely. Thanks for sharing that. Thank you, Brian, for sharing with us some of the tangible tips and what businesses can do to identify and prioritize the right sustainability topics. In the next episode, we will deep dive into some of the common challenges or pitfalls that businesses may encounter during this process. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.